Hello everyone, and welcome back to Intoxicus Flanging. My name's Graham, and as always I hope you remember to bring a bell. And I also hope you remember to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications so you can always stay up to date on new content. And today's content is all about what VR needs to do to become more of a mainstream gaming flan. Right now, VR is kind of a niche. It's not really that huge yet. It's growing, it's getting better, it's improving, but there's some key things, three main things we're going to talk about. There's more things, but three of the biggest things we're going to talk about today, of what VR needs to do to be able to become more of a mainstream platform. There's some big things holding VR back from being like, all gamers having a VR something or other. We're getting there, but we got a ways to go. So we'll jump in flanging here. And so the first thing is the whole wired wireless aspect. All these wires and stuff, they're manageable, they're not that bad, but they need to go. VR needs to become wireless, and that's a huge step for VR, is to move into wireless flanging in general. And we're getting there. There's this wireless adapter for the Vive. The Oculus Quest is flanging up, and that's looking pretty good. It's had lots of good reviews and stuff like that. So we're getting there. Like some other wireless things. So we're getting there. People are trying to make things to adapt existing headsets to be, wireless, and the new headsets coming out are wireless. I'm sure the Valve Index 3.0, their next version, will be wireless. I'd be shocked if it weren't. And just, I mean, this seems a pretty obvious one VR needs to do to become more mainstream. All these wires and shit, people don't want to deal with that hassle. It doesn't help. And if it's wireless and people are like, oh, I can just put it on and I'm good, that helps a lot, because there's lots of people who just don't want to fuck around with extra shit. I'm a PC person. I don't care. I've been doing that all my life, so I'm mostly just kind of used to it in a sense. But it can be a hassle. It can take up a lot of time, so I get it. And basically, what people want is something that's just simple and easy. They can put on and not have to screw around a whole bunch, manage wires, or have to worry about it. And also just functionally playing VR. Like, I can't do any crazy spinning things or anything like that with wires on. They'll start getting wrapped up in them and stuff. So just functionally for VR, very important to go wireless, just because it just makes it better in the first place. Because yeah, all the wires and stuff really can get in the way. And I just realized now I need to adjust my lighting now that I've adjusted it for VR. It's not even any. Anyways, just a thought that occurred to me just now. Don't mind that. So one of the other big issues is VR or cyber sickness. The motion sickness that can come with VR. They've done a lot of things like higher frame rates, and there's, on the VR hardware and software side, there's a lot they've done and do more to help people just not have to deal with the issue at all. Some people are more prone to having issues with VR motion sickness, some people not. But then there's not just the motion sickness, but there's also, like, I've experienced it, where after playing VR for an extended period of time, like, your whole system's just kind of thrown off. And I think it's something I'm thinking about now, what kind of content I can do to, like, add to this and get people thinking about it. Is not just like software and hardware solutions that help people, but also things you can do as a player to help you adjust, help your brain not get so, like, confused and out of sync and all those kinds of things. So there's, like, little tricks and exercises I think that are going to be learned that are going to help. And there's, like, there's some advice and stuff for it. There's, like, software and stuff, but I think one of the biggest things that'll matter is, like, like anchoring techniques. Like, I've got that, like, pillow I stand on, and then I've also got an anchoring technique within VR where I put my stream chat window I'm putting it behind me, like exactly behind me. So that way, when I turn around and it pops up, okay, bam, I know where everything's orientated, because when I start up, I put that screen behind me, and then because that screen is behind me and I know where it is, that anchors more my orientation. So combined with the foot pad, that's a square because it's a pillow. I've got 4 defined edges, so that the chat screens, if synchronized with the back edge. So I always know where the back is. So then everything else becomes defined. I know where, the main flange dimensions of my room is and where my limits are more. So every time, like, I constantly resync myself. I call it finding my feet when I do it. So I constantly find my feet while I'm playing VR whenever I like do something that gets me out of sync with like where my orientation is. And I think there'll be other things people figure out over time. And I'm just that's more of just going further with something people already do. But I think there's going to be a bunch of little tricks and exercises that are just going to become part of playing VR, where it's just like breathing exercises with yoga, that kind of stuff, where it's just like it just becomes part of the thing. And I think that's going to be a huge part of that. But with the software and the hardware and stuff, that'll be huge too. But it's definitely an obstacle. There's some people who have a hard time even playing VR because of the motion sickness issue. And there might be some people who just have a hard time dealing with it, or maybe we'll figure out the tricks and techniques and all those things to just make it a complete non-issue. But there's just the thing where your inner ear, and it's like just with things in general, where your body has all these like senses and sensors for like I don't have a better word, like proprioception, like your just physical awareness of what's around you and stuff like that. Your inner ear and your sense of balance, they get really confused because your body is getting all these signals about the real world, but your brain's getting all these signals about the virtual world, and they become in conflict. Like the first time I got up on something elevated, that was a mind fuck because my feet are telling me I'm on the floor, but my brain is telling me I'm on an elevated object, not on the floor anymore. And that feeling is just so weird and indescribable, where your brain's like, I'm not on the floor, and then your feet are like, you're on the floor, dude. What the fuck is your brain telling you? And your brain's like, what are my feet telling me? Because the eyes say not on floor, and that kind of stuff. So that's a significant obstacle, but I think that's going to be that's going to be a longer term one. That's just going to be slow over time. That's not like wireless, where it just you get some of the right technologies in place and then not really a problem. And so the last so this article is about VR application development, but that's part of the picture of VR cost, is the cost of the hardware and everything. That's not the thing I had flagged up. Something got weird there. Okay, I'm missing a web page. Anyways, so just with the cost of the headset and everything, it was very expensive for the Valve Index. It was not cheap. It's been very stressful financially. The GoFundMe is still up on that note if you want to help me out with that. Just yeah, it's not cheap. Even the Oculus Quest, like a cheaper option, that's still like, what was it, $700 Canadian or something? Let's go back to that. So like the Oculus Quest, not cheap either. Like pretty much half the cost of the Valve Index, but there's also not as that's the thing. There's trade-offs. Even though it's wireless, there's other features and stuff that it's missing, and I don't think like the screen resolution quality might be quite as good. So there's, it's getting better, but affordability is really going to be one of the biggest obstacles. It's really going to hold a lot back, just because, I mean, a VR setup's more expensive than a freaking console. At retail cost. So yeah, its cost is really going to hold it back. Until that cost comes down, that might be the biggest obstacle. And this page is up because it was kind of like a half a thing, but games, there's lots of games, but it's not the amount of games, it's the kind of game. So that's the thing, it's hard to justify the cost, and this kind of ties into cost. It's hard to justify the cost when there's not a lot of like super amazing high level VR games for VR. My sentence phrasing got a little bit weird on that last sentence. Anyway, like, you should be able to understand what I'm getting at is, Half-Life Alex is the, like, best, highest level, most full, complete experience compared to, like, what you would expect out of a regular flat game of similar flanging. And it's one of those, like, kind of chicken or before the egg kind of things where it's like one depends on the other, but the other depends on the one, so they both depend on each other, so one needs to come before the other. But anyways, so yeah, so with the games, like, when it comes to the cost, if there's more games like Half-Life Alyx, justifying that cost would be a lot easier for people. But there's been this running joke, how much are you willing to pay just to play Half-Life Alyx? And like, there's so much more to VR I'm into than just Half-Life Alyx. That was really just the tipping point for me. Whereas, like, okay, VR has been getting pretty good, but it wasn't just a Half-Life game. It was, if Valve is going to invest all this into making the next Half-Life game in VR, when that's kind of a sketchy proposition in the bigger picture in some ways, they're saying they're confident in the future of VR, and they're doing that to try and push VR forward. So if Valve's into VR like that, that means it's time to get into VR to me. A little bit of a sidetrack, but I just wanted to clarify. I didn't get a Valve Index just for Half-Life Alyx. There's so much more. Just Half-Life Alyx is the starting point for me. But there is that joke. Oh, how much are you going to spend just to play Half-Life Alyx? But then we got like Star Wars Squadron with VR flanging up, so I think we're going to wind up with a lot of games that have the option for VR that are like, like I think Resident Evil 7 has the option for your VR, and I think that's going to become a bigger deal, and that's what's going to help transition into making VR more viable for people who aren't like specifically into VR for whatever reason. I've been a nerd for it ever since um I can remember, really. VR is always interested as since I knew it existed. I'm just like, when exactly? Besides that 190s TV show, one day I'll figure out the name of. It's an odd one to search for. I haven't had much luck finding the name of that show. I need to start looking again. But like Star Trek Bridge Crew, that's kind of like a novelty. Iron Man VR is cool. Beat Saber is cool, but like, some of these games are kind of more like tech demos in a lot of ways than they're actual games. Like, I'm interested to try Boneworks and stuff, but like, we need more like Half-Life Alyx level games. That's what I'm getting at. And more existing games that have additional VR support, but not just like where you pick up your controller and play the game with the controller in VR. I mean, that's cool, that's fun. I'm all for that, but they need, like Skyrim VR, where they actually like have your hands and shit, and they actually give you like specific VR controls, and like Doom VFR, but like, both Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal in VR with like proper hand controls. Like, we need that kind of stuff. And it'll be the games that are just regular flat screen games that add VR in, as a feature. Those are the ones that are really going to sorry, fucking with the hotkeys. Those are the ones that are really going to help transition into VR becoming more mainstream, or mainstream at all. Because that'll be like, well, I've already got this game and I've got VR, so fuck yeah, let's go. Like, I found it kind of surprising that Skyrim and Fallout VR are like kind of separate things. You don't get them with the game you already. Oh god, get them with the game you already bought, and there's supposed to be a full $80 too. I'm kind of like, oh come on, guys. See, that kind of shit, that's not going to help VR. Those need to be like $40 games, Canadian dollars, obviously. So those, when you remake the game for VR like that, no, don't ask for the full game price. I'm going to get those, but I'm going to wait, until they're on sale and shit on Steam, so they're actually a reasonable price for what they are. Because no, I'm not going to pay $80 again for a VR version of a game I already own, where you didn't remake the whole game. Like, come on, guys. But that's Bethesda for you, apparently. Anyways, so yeah, VR it's still a niche, and it'll probably be a niche for a while longer. But like I've been saying, I give it 5 to 10 years. There's a lot of interest, a lot of people want it. It's the future, but it's got to overcome these main hurdles we've talked about, and then there's some other ones too. But the three big ones where going wireless, cost, and brain fart. God damn, my brain. Fuck. I can't remember my three main points because my brain fog is poopy. Fuck me. Wireless, cost, derp. Jesus fuck. Okay, hold on a sec. Let's get a reminder. What the hell is wrong with my brain right now? Seriously, this is ridiculous. Oh, fucking motion sickness. Yeah, I guess I was derping on that one because I don't really have too much of an issue on it. I'll excuse myself on that derp because I don't have much of an issue with motion sickness personally, but it holds a lot of other people back, and like I totally feel for them. That sucks to not be able to experience how amazing VR is because your brain can't handle it in ways that you know we don't know if we can help it. That's the thing. There might actually be things that we could maybe do that'll help out with it, but if there are, we haven't figured them out yet. So that doesn't really help us much if we don't know the things, but they are there. We just don't know them yet. That doesn't really help anyone. Oh, what the hell happened here? I somehow managed to like super zoom in that window. That's ridiculous. Anyways, yeah, that pretty much covers today's topic. I think we actually managed to keep within a reasonable amount of time today. Yay! Fucking finally, I'm actually getting like concise and shit. Um, anyways, so if you like this video, give me that thumbs up in YouTube. If you don't, give me that thumbs down. But if you give me that thumbs down, please make sure to give me some constructive feedback and criticism. Please be respectful. Please be specific. Also, vague advice is just hard to actually take action on. So specifics help, and yeah, much appreciated. I'm new. I'm trying to improve. So anything that can help me flange better at this, I'm all for, and thank you. Much thanks to all the GoFundMe, or wait, I derped. Or wait, no, I didn't derp. I got it backwards. Thank you to all the Patreon supporters, and super special thanks to all the Valve Index GoFundMe donors. We're VR streaming today. Half-Life Alyx wouldn't be possible without you guys. Just can't say thanks enough. So thank you all. Just yeah, I keep on winding up when I'm like, I want to like say thanks. I'm just like, I don't like, I don't know what the fuck to say. It just like, I really didn't think I'd really get much of anything on the GoFundMe for the Valve Index. So I'm just blown away. Thank you so much. It is still open though, I have to say. Still got a long ways to go to make up the cost. It's been very financially stressful. So end of the month is coming here, so that stress will kind of fade, but yeah, it's a big thing. So yeah, if you guys want to help me out, that GoFundMe's still open. The Patreon's always open. All sorts of extras for y'all. Oh, the private Discord, all of the Discord for Intoxicus Flanging, that's going to be ready soon. Just want to throw that out there. The goal is to have that finished next week sometime. I just want to make sure it's like really proper before I like really launch it, because I need to get better at that. And I'm sure there's other things I should mention. I already mentioned VR streaming, Half-Life Alyx today. Oh, we're making the big push for affiliate on Twitch. Just about there, just need the 3 average views. So all you need to do is tune in and watch. And like, at this point, numbers is big. So even if you just want to like throw it on and just don't mute it, just leave the volume on as low as it takes to make it so it's not like annoying or you can't hear it too much or whatever. But just throwing a screen on my stream and just having the sound so it's not all the way muted but not like audible, that alone can help out. I normally wouldn't even mention something like that, but it's just helping out with the push to affiliate. And you kind of need to get some numbers momentum going to get the algorithm to really like pay attention to you at all. So it's like, it's kind of it's yeah, getting started on Twitch is a little bit, can be frustrating a little bit because of the way the algorithms work. Anyways, if you want to help me out with that, much appreciated. Thank you very much. And I think that covers all the like ending little things I should be mentioning. So I always feel like I'm forgetting something. And yeah, anyways, if I'm forgetting something, I'll remember it tomorrow. As always, thanks for watching. Oops, I clicked that too soon. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Have a good one, and remember to bring a towel.